Hey, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome into First Take. Ryan Clark in the building.
I like this outfit, though, Molly.
Tried to do a little something. I knew you were here. And clearly, blue was the memo. The Hall of Famer, Shannon Sharpe, and, of course, our coach, Seth Greenberg. Gentlemen, the Florida Gators are the kings of college basketball. Let's get it. They captured their third national title after overcoming a 12-point second-half deficit. Walter Clayton Jr. was the Final Four's most outstanding player, but struggled offensively, especially in the first half. But Clayton's defense crucial late as Houston's Emmanuel Sharp stopped in the middle of his motion as he tried to go up for the game-winning three in the final seconds, crushing way to lose for H-Town.
It's incomprehensible in that situation. We couldn't get a shot. Gotta get a shot. We're down 2. That's gotta do better than that.
Coach, you've been around this game a very, very long time. How bad was this final possession?
It was brutal. The final 4 possessions were brutal. They turned the ball over 4 consecutive times with the game basically on the line. This is a Kelvin Sampson coach team. I mean, think about how they executed against Duke at the end of the game. They're absolutely flawless. At the end of this game, they were tragic. It was disappointing. I mean, you want to get the ball to your best player in the middle of the floor and let him make a play. You've got to get a shot up at the end of the game with a chance to win the game or put it into over. They were tragic. It was disappointing. I mean, you want to get the ball to your best player in the middle of the floor and let him make a play. You've got to get a shot up at the end of the game with a chance to win the game or put it into overtime. And the lack of execution, lack of decision-making. You see right here, they wanted to get Cryer. You look on the left-hand side of the screen. He's coming off a rescreen. Great job of defending and a great closeout right there on that last contest by attempt by Sharpe. But at the end of a game, you've got to take care of the ball. You've got to make good decisions. You've got to have the ball in the right guy's hands. And you got to give Florida credit in terms of the ability to have it scouted and run them off the three-point line. But Kelvin Sampson, there's going to be some sleepless nights because at the end of a game, you want the ball in your best player's hands. You guys can relate to this in football. Your best player's hands with a position to win or lose the game. If you don't have that happen, if you don't get a shot up in your last 4 possessions, it is absolutely sickening and brutal. It's something that's going to kind of haunt you, but it's something you can look at and say, what can I do? How can I have helped my team be in a better position to win the game?
Shay?
Yeah, Coach, I agree with you 100%. I think sometimes how you get there is how you end up leaving there without a national championship, because we saw them do this very same thing to Duke in the semifinals, is that they forced Duke to turn the ball over and they ended up winning the game. And as you mentioned, the last 4 possessions, you turn the ball over. You don't even get a shot up at the rim to give yourself some cushion or whatever the case may be to get on the foul line or anything. You don't do anything. And, you know, we're going to talk about the 12-point deficit, but, Coach, you know with that 3-point shot, 12 points is not a whole lot of points because they got a couple of and ones and they were right back into the ball game. But this is really bad because I thought Houston had played really well. They did a great job of pressuring Florida all night long. But they're going to go back and look at the final 2 minutes of the ball game, and this is where they lost it. You cannot turn the ball over in that situation, and it's reprehensible for you not to even get a shot up, Coach. Hey, just throw it. Do like Carolina. You remember Carolina they made him double pump. He double pumped it and got a 3-point shot up. They ended up losing the game on a buzzer beater from 3, but you got to get a shot up. I don't care if it's your best player. Yes, Coach, you're absolutely right. And RC, we know this. We try to get the football to our best receiver, our best tight end in that position. But if he's covered, I got to go somewhere else with the football and hope he can catch the football. In this situation, Coach, I understand you wanted to get the ball to Cryer, but Sharpe, you cannot do what you did. If he blocks it, he blocks it. But for you not to get a shot up, for you not to even get the ball towards the rim, you can't have that in the national championship game. And
Shannon, this could star in your segment. Sharpe or not Sharpe?
Sharpe or not Sharpe?
Sharpe or not Sharpe for multiple reasons. Not that I'm trying to pile on the guy in a tough moment. But, RC, I know you co-signed with them on that. So here's what I want to know. Was this more of a Florida comeback or a Houston collapse?
To me, it was all Florida, right? We can't get on here and come on TV after Houston beats Duke and talk about the way that Houston found ways to make plays late, the defense that they had on the inbounds plays, the big 3-pointers, that they were able to make, and then not talk about the way Florida defended down the stretch. And I mean, Coach, you know this as well. Walter Clayton Jr., you have L.J. Cryer going to the goal. You get a big stop by your big man. You knock the football off of Emmanuel Sharp's leg on the prior possession before the last, and then you close out if you're Walter Clayton Jr., who's going to be the most outstanding player of the Final Four, but you're still playing defense. Elijah Martin and Walter Clayton Jr., who have been carrying, then you close out if you're Walter Clayton Jr., who's going to be the most outstanding player of the Final Four, but you're still playing defense. Elijah Martin and Walter Clayton Jr., who have been carrying this team offensively throughout the tournament, they didn't have their best games, but even down 12, and the thing about Florida, too, that we haven't talked about yet is the fact that they were down 10 in the prior game. They were down 9 in the game before that. This team has shown their mettle in finding ways to come back in the NCAA tournament, and I think that goes back to the play in the SEC. It's so much about the SEC being football schools and being a football conference, but this year, when you talk about Auburn, you think about Tennessee, Arkansas making a run to the Sweet 16, Florida showed that having those games during the seasons, having those games in conference prepare you for the most important moments. And this was about Florida finding ways to not only get stops, but get buckets.
Look, RC, I agree with you. Like, it takes two to make it happen. I mean, like, Houston had to do some things to open up the door, and then Florida had to do things to step through that door and make plays. You talk about Walter Clayton, like in the first half, Houston's game plan on Walter Clayton was absolutely incredible. They blitzed him or trapped him, put 2 on the ball, got the ball out of his hand. So what did Walter Clayton do? He made the right decision. He had 7 assists in the first half. In the second half, Florida got him off the ball, and that's how he made those threes, that back screen and that layup, and got it going. But this is as much about Florida seizing the moment. They did it against UConn. They did it against Texas Tech. They did it against Auburn, and they did it against a very physical, tough Houston team. Houston struggled down the stretch, but the plays that Florida made, their ability to get downhill, get Houston in foul trouble. Getting Tugler and Francis in foul trouble was huge, because when you got those 2 guys out of the game for an extended period of time, you can get downhill, get to the rim, and get to the free throw line. They got 19 free throw attempts in the second half. So, look, Houston, last 2 minutes of the game is on the line throughout the tournament. Florida got it done. And the SEC got it done throughout the tournament, whether it was 14 teams in, the number of teams in the Elite 8, the number of teams in the Final Four, and now the national championship. But Florida's not going anywhere. Florida's not going anywhere. Todd Golden, he's got a little bit of something to him, whether you call it a swag, a presence. Let me tell you something. That thing right there, they ain't going anywhere. They're something to him, whether you call it a swag, a presence. Let me tell you something. That thing right there, they ain't going anywhere. They're the real deal.
Absolutely. Shannon.
Guys, I think it doesn't matter the sport. How many times have we heard people say that game was there for the taking and they just didn't take it? Well, the game was there for the taking and the Gators took it. It's really that simple. RC, you're absolutely right. We gave Houston credit for that great comeback, and we said Houston won this game. It wasn't that Duke gave it away. Houston won the game. They made timely shots, and they forced Duke to turn the ball over, and they got back into the ball game. This is a very similar situation. They forced Houston to turn the ball over on their last 4 possessions, but I thought that and one, when they got that breakaway, Coach, and he got that and one, I think it's Condon, when he flipped the ball up, I'm like, hide that. I mean, the guy tried to foul him, and he lost control of the ball, and then he flipped it up, and it goes in anyway. And then Clayton comes back and get an and one. This was all about the Gators. Yes, I know Houston made some mistakes, but it doesn't matter how many mistakes you make if somebody doesn't capitalize on said mistakes. The Gators capitalized on those mistakes, and they made Houston pay the ultimate price. It cost them a national championship. I thought they were in control of this ball game, and they all of a sudden they started turning it over, and Florida got hot. They made the plays that they needed to make down the stretch. I think it's more on Florida winning it as opposed to Houston Cougars losing it.
And the big thing I want to talk about with this tournament, it was great basketball. It was fun to watch.
100%.
It feels like the tournament was finally back. And I know it's a lot of these mid-major guys becoming big-time stars at these Power 4 schools. But when you think about Clayton, you think about Martin, and the level of play that we saw from Florida throughout this tournament and the competitiveness of this entire thing. I mean, last year, we were all tapped into the women's final, and we did the same this year. But I believe the men stepped their game up, and the NIL transfer portal era is starting to bring back college basketball on the men's side.
100%. So you didn't miss the Cinderella